All right, hello and welcome everybody. Are you curious about real estate news and market updates? Or maybe you just like to know about local events, happenings, or what it's like to live in Northwest Indiana? Well, if that sounds like you, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to The Word Around Town, episode 18. I'm Steve Jamrok with Realty Executives Premier, and my goal is to keep you updated and educated on what's going on in the real estate world and all the important topics that are impacting our Northwest Indiana communities. And this week, we'll give you my weekly Bears update. Illinois believes it's better late than never to show up to the party, while a new Indiana city has entered the room like a wrecking ball. If you're planning on selling your home this spring, I'll tell you what you should be doing right now to get your house ready to sell. The weather is warming up, snow is melting, and that means there is potential for seepage in your basement and crawl spaces. I'll tell you what you should do if you do find any. Give you a quick update on interest rates and what they're doing right now. And buyers are changing the way they finance properties, and homeowners, you better be ready for it. Our local multiple listing service is getting a major improvement, and the Hobart data center battle is still ongoing, while Indiana is making it easier for data centers to access alternative power sources. One of my favorite Crown Point stores is relocating, and a new subdivision has been approved for Portage, which is one of the fastest growing communities in Northwest Indiana. Gary continues to have good news come out from the city. I'll tell you about that. And girls basketball regionals are underway this weekend, and we have a very strong representation from Northwest Indiana. Boys wrestling remains strong in the region as well, with two teams winning regionals last week. I'll tell you about that. Plus, it's Valentine's Day weekend, and I'm sure you all have your plans lined up, ready to go on how you're going to celebrate it. If not, I'll tell you a few of my favorite restaurants that are having specials in the region. All right, let's jump right in here and start talking about the Bears Stadium. So earlier this week, Illinois finally woke up and decided to show up to the party. They've been quiet for quite some time, but finally, Governor Pritzker and some Illinois lawmakers started to come out publicly, stating that things were moving closer to finalizing a deal with the Bears to keep them in Illinois at their Arlington Heights site. The Bears' main holdup this whole time has been they want tax certainty. They want to know what they're going to pay in property taxes at that Arlington Heights site. And they want Illinois to fund the infrastructure improvements around their Arlington Heights stadium as well. Well, again, lawmakers and Governor Pritzker came together and said that things were progressing closer to a potential deal. Chicago media and sports media, they were a little more optimistic, saying that things were looking really good and pretty much a done deal. Again, lawmakers were a little more cautious, saying things were progressing. And while this was happening on Wednesday, yesterday, that would be February 11th, the city of Portage, Indiana, threw a Hail Mary at the last second and came in with a monster proposal for the Chicago Bears. Again, this is one of those proposals. The state of Indiana had a great proposal as well that was really a no-brainer for the Bears from just a flat-out business-only, money-only decision. The state of Indiana's proposal was as solid as you can get. Well, come in, the city of Portage, up the ante just a little bit. They are proposing a $5 billion investment on the north side of Portage. The location would be just north of I-94 at the intersection of I-94 and 294. That is just west of Bass Pro Shop and Ameriplex at the crossings. It's a 300-acre shovel-ready site that the city currently owns. It's almost identical in size to the Arlington Heights site that the Bears currently own. The development would be a dome stadium for the Bears, would include retail, entertainment, restaurants, and hotels. Everything that the Bears were planning in Arlington Heights, Portage would put in there as well for them. You would be able to access the property by car, by 8094 or the toll road, by train, as the South Shore station is right there at Ogden Dunes, or by boat through the Marina Shores harbor there. It is a really amazing proposal that they put out there, and to kick it all off, they are stating that it would be privately funded. They have the financing in place from a private financier. There would be no taxes from residents, and there would be no out-of-pocket money from the Chicago Bears. That is tough to beat. And the only reason for the Bears not to accept something like that is just for the fact that they want to stay in Illinois, which is absolutely understandable. Now, the one thing I really like about, regardless of what happens, and again, my opinion is the Bears are going to stay in Illinois. That's just the way that they want it. It's kind of evident. But from a business standpoint, man, those are, whether you take the state of Indiana's deal in Gary or Hammond or another site, or you take Portage's deal, which is privately funded, either way, you're not really paying any property taxes for a while, and you're not bringing any out-of-pocket money for these developments. It's really just an amazing business deal for the Chicago Bears to take advantage of should they choose. And what I really like about it from an Indiana standpoint, from whether it's Indiana state lawmakers or our region leaders, everybody is touting it as a win-win. They understand that whether it's the city of Gary, Hammond, Portage, or another community that do end up getting the Bears, if they decide to move to Indiana, it's a win-win for the region. So they're all really working together to make this happen, and that has been exciting. That has been good to see. That has been something that we've struggled with here in Northwest Indiana for a long time. What happened in Northwest Indiana was different than what was happening in Indianapolis, or what's happening in Gary was different from what's happening in Valparaiso, and vice versa, and throughout there. And this is the one thing where all of a sudden leaders have come together to try to make this happen, and by understanding that it's an economic win for the entire region should the Bears decide to take one of these amazing proposals and relocate here to Northwest Indiana. So if these proposals are so awesome, why would the Bears not want to come here? Why wouldn't they just take one of them? Well, honestly, they really don't want to leave Illinois. And, they've been in Chicago. They're a charter franchise of the NFL. Do the McCaskies really want to say that, hey, a year after our mother died, that we're going to go ahead and move the Bears to Indiana? I think that they really care about their legacy and don't really believe that they want to be the owners that said that they picked up and moved and left Illinois. So I think that is what's going to be the main reason keeping them there in Illinois and at the Arlington Heights site. And also they own the land at Arlington Heights already. They paid $200 million, I believe, for that land. So it's not not just a drop in the bucket there. They'd have to do something with that land. I'm sure they could sell it and recoup their funds. But again, they already own the property. And it's, for the most part, shovel-ready, ready to go outside of the infrastructure. But now that Portage has a shovel-ready site in place. So they, one thing that I think the Bears are realizing is how quick Indiana can move. And regardless if the Bears come here or not, I think that opens it up nationally. And eyeballs are on Indiana and Northwest Indiana as well, as far as how quickly and welcoming we are to get businesses done here in Indiana and Northwest Indiana. So, again, at the end of the day, I think the Bears will stay there, but the Illinois politics is always a wild card. For right now, they're saying that, hey, we're getting closer, things are progressing, we want the Bears to stay here, but it's happened before to where, hey, the Bears make a commitment, we stay here, but then how long is it going to take them to get things done from that standpoint? So again, the Illinois politics is always a wild card here, whereas Indiana has shown that we've already moved quickly. We're ready to go. We can get your stadium and your entire development done quickly and start having you in the brand new stadium probably much quicker than Illinois could. So last thing about this, I'll leave you with this, guys, is reports again had that the Bears wanted an update from the state of Illinois prior to the end of the Illinois legislative session. That supposedly ends at the end of February, and that if they could not get a solid update on their tax certainty and the infrastructure around the state, around Arlington Heights, then they're ready to pull the plug and move to Indiana. So next couple of weeks should be a lot of fun. We'll keep an eye on what's happening there and report as things come out for you. So, hey, we're not dead yet. And as I always say, the longer it takes, the better it looks for Indiana. So fingers crossed, right? All right. The Super Bowl is over. Spring training has begun, and the weather is warming up here in Northwest Indiana. Man, can you believe that it's been going to be close to 50, and it's going to be in the 50s this weekend, close to 60 degrees? It feels great out there right now compared to the deep freeze we were in at the end of January, early February. It's going to be a great next few days to get outside and enjoy. But it also means the spring real estate market is getting closer as well. So for those of you that are thinking about selling your house in spring, you should go ahead and start planning on getting your house ready right now. And these are some of the things that you should be doing. Start by cleaning your house, decluttering, and packing things away. Put things neatly in the boxes, into the garage, storage unit, basement. But again, get those things off the wall. Make it as free from clutter and as clean as possible. If you are thinking of doing repairs or updates or painting your house, now is the time to do those, especially if you need professional help to get those done. Start calling around right now for quotes. If you need names of contractors for certain projects, hey, reach out, leave a comment. I'll be glad to give you names of people I recommend here in Northwest Indiana. But the closer you get to spring, the more booked up that these contractors are going to get. So now is the time, if you need professional help, to get those quotes and get those jobs scheduled. It's also the time to start planning your landscape projects. Remember, curb appeal is still one of the most important things to focus on when selling a house. We want to make sure that your house pops and really stands out as people drive up. You want that landscaping immaculate. So if there's anything you want to do to start improving your landscaping and making it pop out there, maybe there's a tree or bush you want to get rid of, or some grading issues like we talked about earlier, now is the time to do that. Again, if you need that professional help, professional landscapers to come to get that done, now's the time to start getting those scheduled. It's also the time to schedule your consultation with your realtor, so we can come out there, make sure that you're getting a local expert, somebody who knows what's happening in your local marketplace and your neighborhood. We'll go ahead and talk about the things that you do need to do. Sometimes doing a full bathroom remodel isn't necessary. While other times, leaving that avocado green wall up is not a good thing. Those are some of the things that we'll talk about. We'll talk about some of the steps you need to take to get the property ready as well, along with starting an early pricing strategy and kind of seeing what your goal and timeline is and how that aligns with what's happening in the market when we get ready to price your home. So again, very important, consult your realtor. Get that consultation done now, and that way when the spring market comes and you're ready to list your home, you're ready to go from day one. Now, as the weather does warm, as we get ready for that spring market as well, we had a lot of snow this year. So that snow is starting to melt, and that water has to drain somewhere. And hopefully, if you have a basement or crawl space, it doesn't end up there. But if it should, don't panic. Many times, seepage is an easy fix. And here's some of the things that you can do to help alleviate any seepage or water protrusion into your property. Start by walking around your house. Make sure that all the downspouts are extended away from your home and foundation. Look at the grading around your home. Make sure that it's sloping away from your property. Sometimes over time, the soil erodes. You get low spots where water pools up, and then it takes the path of least resistance to go out. And unfortunately, a lot of times it goes next to your foundation and then down finds its way into your basement and or crawl space. So make sure that that's grading is sloping away from your property. If you have window wells, make sure those are cleaned out. There should be a drain at the bottom. Make sure that is free and clear of any debris. If you have a sump pump that discharges into your yard, make sure that that discharge pipe, the end of it extends away from your home, and that the opening where the water discharges out is free of any ice buildup, mud, dirt, debris, and that water is flowing out freely. And as you walk around your property, check for any small cracks or holes or openings in your foundation. We had a harsh winter, a lot of freezing and thawing, could shift and open small cracks in your foundation. So if you note any, once the weather warms up, go back out there and make sure you get those sealed up there. So, all right. Interest rate update. What's going on with interest rates right now? Still some pretty good news. They're not where we want them to be yet as far as affordability goes, but they're doing pretty good. The average interest rate came in at 6.09% today. According to the Freddie Mac mortgage survey, they do a weekly mortgage survey of all the lenders out there, and the average was 6.09%. That's down from last week's survey of 6.11%. And that's down for almost a whole percentage point from where we were at this time last year. So that's really good news. The other good news is rates have been consistent. We haven't seen this wild swing. We're at 6.1 week, and then 6.5, then 6.7, then 6.2. Sometimes we get on that little roller coaster spike, and that hasn't been the case here recently. The last month or so, it's been fairly consistent. We still like to see them down there in those fives, but right now it's good to see that they've been consistent, and we haven't seen that volatility that we have previously. Now, with interest rates and home prices being elevated still, and affordability being a concern for a lot of home buyers out there, especially first-time home buyers, many home buyers are shifting the way that they're financing houses. All right. For a long time, over the last couple of years, conventional was the way to go. Well, now FHA is making a renewed push as being the to-go-to loan when home buyers are financing a property. You can get in with a lower down payment. FHA loans are currently opening with better rates than conventional loans. For example, well-qualified buyers I've seen quoted at around 5.6%. So that's pretty good. Now, here's the thing, though. For a long time, over the last, especially 3-4 years, as the market was really going strong, a lot of home sellers poo-pooed, turned their nose up on FHA financing. They didn't want to deal with it, felt it was just a pain in the ass, for lack of a better word here. Well, now, with more and more home buyers going to FHA, if you're thinking about selling your home, you're going to alienate a lot of home buyers out there if you do not offer FHA as an option. So again, when you meet with your realtor, have that discussion of the benefits of having your house ready to make sure that it can be financed FHA. It's not as difficult as you would think. Unless your house is extremely old or has some significant issues, it's fairly simple to get your house ready to be FHA qualified. Peeling paint is always one of the big ones there, smoke detectors, ground fault outlets throughout the property. Again, we'll cover all that in the consultation as well, but it's not as difficult as you would think getting your house ready and accepting an FHA loan. So don't discount those FHA buyers. A lot of them are really strong. A lot of them are very well qualified. Again, they're just putting less down because affordability is home prices are higher. So be ready. Have that conversation with your realtor to see if it makes sense for you to offer FHA as a financing option when you sell your property. All right. Also, when you get ready to sell your home this spring, we have a new option for you guys in our multiple listing service. The multiple listing service, that's where we enter your property when it's listed for sale, and that's then syndicated out to all the secondary sites out there. So our multiple listing service, the Northwest Indiana Regional, Northwest Indiana Realtors Association, MLS, recently agreed to a data sharing option with MIBOR, which is the Indianapolis metro area MLS. So what that means for you, the consumer, is that your property, from a home seller standpoint, will now be shown to all these realtors who subscribe to the Metro Indy area MLS. So you'll just have more eyes on your property. And from a home buyer standpoint, I can now access properties throughout a large chunk of Indiana, especially in the Indianapolis area as well. So if you are looking for properties down there as well, I can help you out and kind of point you in the right direction to what's available there as well. So again, that's really good news for our state and our local association as we continue to expand to give you, the consumer, more options out there and more visibility when you're selling your house and more options when you're looking to purchase a property. All right, over into Hobart, where the Amazon data center continues to be a battle between Amazon, the city, and the residents of Hobart. Recently, the Plan Commission in Hobart took another step to approve that data center, but the residents continue to push back, and there is a lawsuit that has been recently filed to help stop the project. So nothing set in stone yet. I still believe this gets done and that data center will move forward, but residents are really putting up a fight there, and a new lawsuit throws another wrench in it for Amazon and the city of Hobart. Now, in the meantime, the state of Indiana cleared some old existing laws out of the way to make it easier for small modular nuclear reactors to get built in the state of Indiana, with the idea being that these large data centers can go ahead and construct these small nuclear reactors on site to help power their data centers so that they don't have to take power off of our electric grid. So again, they're just going ahead and making permitting processes a lot easier. This one kind of flew under the radar, but if you listen to some of my previous podcasts, we said that Governor Braun was behind small nuclear reactors 100% and making these available throughout the state for these data centers to access. Now, the other interesting thing here, as I stay on data centers and AI and technology, I was at the Northwest Indiana Forum yearly meeting here recently, and the keynote speaker there was U.S. Senator Todd Young. He's the senator from Southern Indiana. And it was really interesting to listen to, but as we continue to focus on AI, artificial intelligence, and data centers here in Northwest Indiana, he and the rest of the government is already focusing on quantum computing. Now, again, I'm not going to get into and act like I'm a tech expert and know what the heck quantum computing is. I'm still catching up on AI, right? But he has clearly stated that it is his goal, Governor Braun's goal, the state of Indiana's goal, to be a leader in the quantum computing race. And they want a quantum computing corridor basically from Northwest Indiana all the way down through Purdue, Indianapolis, Bloomington, all the way down to Southern Indiana. So they're already thinking ahead in the future. We could talk in later podcasts about quantum computing and kind of what their thought and visions are for it. But again, these data centers aren't going away, guys. They're already starting to think about the next step past artificial intelligence, which is quantum computing. All right, on a smaller scale, back into Crown Point. One of my favorite stores here in Crown Point is relocating to Valparaiso, where Crown Point Records, located right here on the square, is closing up shop. They said their lease is expiring. It was too expensive to re-up their lease, so they are moving out to a location in Valparaiso. They were a great little store to go there. Had all kinds of, had a really great selection of vinyl. Whatever you wanted, it was just a great place to go and shop. So if you like vinyl, you like listening, look them up when they get out there to Valparaiso and give them a listen. Now, Portage continues to remain one of the fastest growing communities in Northwest Indiana. Just from affordability standpoint, available land, a lot of new construction happening in Portage. And Portage just annexed some more land just south of UX 6 for a new residential subdivision. It's going to be developed by Old Toff Homes. So Portage continues to move rapidly. We talked about how rapidly they were moving with the Bears, but they're doing the same thing with residential construction as well. So Portage, it's been very interesting and very exciting to see what's been happening in Portage here recently from a retail standpoint and a residential standpoint. They have moved quickly to bring in a lot of development here to Portage throughout the city. Another community that is resurging here recently is the city of Gary. And they've had a lot of good news come out over 2025 through the city of Gary. And it continues here into the start of 2026, where U.S. Steel is starting off a $900 million upgrade to the U.S. Steel facility in Gary. And that's going to require about 1,000 workers to complete that update. So that's really good news, a really great investment. That's part of a larger $3 billion investment that Nippon Steel committed to when they purchase U.S. Steel. So as they continue to invest into the site and make it more modern and updated, it's going to require more and more workers to get that done. So that's great news for the region. The other really exciting news coming out of Gary is that Gary is no longer losing residents. For the longest time, Gary was the biggest city in Northwest Indiana, and then over the years, that population declined down to around, I think they went from over 100,000 down to about 75,000 here as of the last census. Well, now for the last 9 quarters in a row, Gary has gained population. So that is really exciting news for the city of Gary. And it really goes hand in hand from what we've been seeing from a real estate standpoint as well and a housing standpoint. We've seen houses in Gary become in demand. Investors are out there rehabbing, fixing them up, and selling them for some pretty significant dollars for what Gary was commanding there for a while. We've also seen new construction happening in Gary in the Etna area. So again, a lot of great things happening in Northwest Indiana, and it's always great to see the city of Gary coming through with a lot of really positives here recently. All right, on to some high school sports real quick. We have the girls basketball regionals are taking place this weekend, and we have a strong contingent of teams here from Northwest Indiana that are going to be representing. Crown Point, Valparaiso, Andrean, Marquette Catholic, Kankakee Valley, and Highland are all representing the region in girls basketball regionals this weekend. So wish them all the best, and hopefully we see a bunch of regional titles coming back to Northwest Indiana. And also in regional title speak, 2 teams continue to dominate wrestling here in Northwest Indiana. That's Crown Point and Maryville, as they both won regionals last weekend as well. So best of luck to them as they continue on their journey to a state title. It's Valentine's Day weekend. And first off, I got to admit, I'm not the biggest Valentine's Day fan. I'm so thankful that my wife isn't either. We don't do anything crazy as far as celebrating. So that's always good. But for those of you that do celebrate, it's going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend. I hope you do more than just go out to dinner. Get out there and enjoy what's happening here in Northwest Indiana. But some of the restaurants here that I really enjoy, I want to talk about real quick, that are offering specials here for the Valentine's Day. There are so many specials happening. Just about every restaurant or bar is going to have some kind of special seating and or menu for Valentine's Day. But Journeyman Distillery, Journeyman Distillery in Valparaiso, Badera Bar here in Crown Point, Copalillo's in Crown Point, Lighthouse in Cedar Lake, Pivot Lounge in Crown Point, which is really an underrated restaurant. The Farmhouse at Fair Oaks are all offering some really unique and special Valentine's Day options. So check those out. There's also a winter market happening in Chesterton this weekend at the Indiana Dunes Visitor Center. Could be a fun way to spend the Valentine's Day morning before you head out to dinner. And then again, the weather is going to be awesome. Just a reminder of some of the great parks we have in the area to get out, take a hike, enjoy the weather. Indiana Dunes National Park and the State Park are always great options. But there's also Stony Run, which is on the border of Hebron, and Crown Point, which is a county park, Deep River County Park and the Old Mill. They got some great trails along Deep River there. Lemon Lake County Park over in Crown Point, Cedar Lake area. And there's so much more to do. So just get out, enjoy the weather this weekend. We've been on the deep freeze for so long. The sun's going to feel great. Hope you all have a very happy and safe Valentine's Day. And of course, if there's anything I can help you with, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.